Right now, somewhere within arm's reach of you, there is a small block of black lines printed on something you own. You have never once looked at it on purpose. It's on the back of your phone case, on the underside of your coffee cup, on the cereal box in your kitchen, stitched into the tag of the shirt you are wearing right now, and you have walked past 10,000 of them today without registering a single one. You don't need to read them. Machines do. Tonight, they stop. Not the printers, not the labels. The labels are all still there, perfectly intact, black on white, exactly where they have always been. What breaks is the reading. Every scanner beam still fires. Every red line still sweeps across the plastic, and nothing comes back. So what actually happens next? Start with what a barcode is, because almost nobody knows. A barcode is not information. That's the first surprise. Those lines do not contain a price. They do not contain a name, an expiry date, or a warning label. They contain a number, and that's all. 12 or 13 digits, encoded in the width of black bars and white gaps, so a machine can read it at an angle, in a hurry, upside down, through a scratched plastic window. The number means nothing on its own. It's a pointer, a tiny address that says, "Go look this up." The price lives in a database. The name lives in a database. The stock count, the supplier, the shipping route, the recall status, the allergen list. All of it lives somewhere else. The barcode is just the key that opens the drawer, which means the world isn't running on barcodes. It's running on the act of matching. And that's the thing about to fail. 2 minutes in, you notice nothing. You're standing at a self-checkout, holding a box of pasta, waving it over the glass. Nothing beeps. You turn the box. Try again. You do the thing everyone does, which is to assume you are holding it wrong. 4 minutes in, the person next to you is doing the same thing. So is the person beyond them. A staff member walks over with the patient face of someone who has fixed this 100 times, waves the box herself, and her expression changes. 10 minutes in, the store shifts to manual. Every item, keyed in by hand. A trained cashier scans an item in roughly a second. Typing a code by hand takes 6 to 10, and that's if the number is even printed in human-readable digits underneath, which on some packaging it isn't. A basket that took 4 minutes now takes 25. 20 minutes in, the queue reaches the back wall. But the queue is the visible problem, and the visible problem is never the real one. Here's what's happening quietly. Every time an item is scanned at a till, the store's system subtracts 1 from a number. That subtraction is how the shop knows what it owns. It's how the shelf replenishment system decides what to pull from the stockroom overnight. And it's how the regional distribution center decides what to put on tomorrow's lorry. No scan, no subtraction, and the store's inventory quietly freezes in place, still confidently reporting stock levels that stopped being true 20 minutes ago. The shop is now blind, and it doesn't know it. By hour 1, it isn't shops anymore. Go inside a parcel sorting hub at 1 in the morning. Belts running in 3 dimensions, boxes flying past at 3 meters a second, and overhead, arrays of scanners firing thousands of reads a minute. There is no human in that building who knows where any individual box is going. The box knows. Or rather, the label knows, and the machine reads the label, and a diverter arm flicks it down the correct chute in a fraction of a second. Take away the read, and every one of those boxes becomes anonymous cardboard. They don't stop moving. That's the problem. Momentum carries them into a jam because a sorting hub has no idea how to be a warehouse. Hubs are designed to hold parcels for minutes, not days. There is nowhere to put them. By hour 3, the failure reaches a place almost nobody associates with barcodes: a hospital. In the early 1990s, a nurse at the Veterans Affairs Hospital in Topeka, Kansas, named Sue Kinnick, returned a rental car and watched the clerk scan a code to check it back in. She reportedly thought, if a rental company can do that with a car, why can't we do it with medication? That idea became barcode medication administration, now standard across much of modern healthcare. Nurse scans her badge, scans the patient's wristband, scans the drug. The system checks all 3 against the prescription and either stays silent or throws an alarm. That silent check runs millions of times a day. Blood is worse. Every bag of donated blood carries a standardized barcode label under a global system called ISBT 128 that ties the bag to a blood type, a donation, a screening record. It exists precisely because handwriting on a blood bag has killed people. At hour 3, all of it falls back to a human squinting at a label under fluorescent light at 4 in the morning at the end of a 12-hour shift. Nothing dramatic happens. That's what makes it frightening. The alarm that no longer sounds is invisible by definition. By hour 6, the airports are gone. Every checked bag carries a paper tag with a barcode, and automated baggage systems read that tag dozens of times between the check-in desk and the aircraft hold. When the read rate on those systems drops even a few percent, bags start missing flights in the thousands. Drop it to 0, and a major hub can't sort baggage at all. Not slowly, at all. By hour 12, the factories. Modern manufacturing runs on just-in-time, which means a plant deliberately holds only hours of parts because holding more costs money. Every pallet arriving at every goods-in door is verified by a scan. No scan, no verified receipt, no verified receipt, and the line supervisor faces a choice: fit an unverified part or stop the line. They stop the line. They always stop the line. Are you starting to see the shape of it? On day 2, the food stops moving, and this is where the hidden dependency finally surfaces. Traceability. Every case of lettuce, every batch of ground beef, every pallet of frozen chicken carries a coded label tying it to a lot, a farm, a date, a processing shift. That code is how a contaminated batch gets found. When an outbreak is detected, investigators work backwards through those codes to identify which lot, which supplier, which day. Without them, a recall stops being a scalpel and becomes a sledgehammer. You can't pull one lot. You pull everything, every case of that product in every store in the country, because you have no way to tell the safe ones from the dangerous ones. The same logic runs through medicine. Under drug supply chain security laws now in force in the United States, prescription medicines carry serialized barcodes, so each package can be verified as authentic as it moves through distributors and into pharmacies. It exists to keep counterfeit drugs out. On day 2, that verification layer is simply gone, and the only remaining defense against a fake box of medication is that the box looks about right. So here's the reveal. The barcode was never about speed. It was never really about checkout queues. It's a proof of identity layer stretched invisibly across the entire physical world, the mechanism by which objects tell systems what they truly are, billions of times a day, without a single human being asked to trust anyone. Lose it, and you don't lose convenience. You lose knowing. And if that sounds theoretical, it isn't. We've watched pieces of it happen. In June 2017, the shipping giant Maersk was hit by the NotPetya malware. Its systems collapsed across roughly 76 terminals worldwide. Trucks arrived at port gates with cargo that could no longer be identified or booked in, and staff ended up running operations on personal devices and improvised paperwork while the company rebuilt thousands of servers and tens of thousands of computers from scratch. The ships were fine. The cranes were fine. The knowing was gone. In March 2019, the Norwegian aluminium producer Norsk Hydro was hit by ransomware and reverted across multiple plants to pen and paper. Retired workers reportedly came back in to help because they still remembered how to run production using printed instructions and manual records. In July 2024, a faulty software update from the security firm CrowdStrike crashed millions of Windows machines in a single morning. Airlines issued handwritten boarding passes. Retailers and health systems fell back to paper, and for a few hours, the most advanced logistics economy in human history was politely asking people to write things down. None of those were barcode failures. All of them were failures of the same thing underneath: the ability of a machine to look at an object and know what it is. Now think about how thin the origin of all this is. The idea came from a graduate student named Norman Joseph Woodland, who in the late 1940s, sitting on a beach in Miami, dragged his fingers through the sand, and pulled Morse code downward into lines. He and Bernard Silver patented it in 1952. Nothing much happened for 2 decades until the grocery industry agreed on a shared standard. And on the 26th of June, 1974, at a Marsh supermarket in Troy, Ohio, a cashier passed a 10-pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit chewing gum over a scanner, and it beeped and the price came up. 67 cents. That gum is in a museum now. The system built on top of it is holding up the entire supply of everything you eat, wear, take, and receive. Do you want the uncomfortable part? There's no backup. Not really. There is no parallel system waiting in a drawer, no analog fallback that scales. The fallback is what always was the fallback, a person reading a label, typing a number, hoping they got it right. That works for one item. It does not work for the roughly 6 billion barcode scans estimated to happen worldwide every single day. We didn't decide to depend on this. Nobody voted for it. It spread because it worked, and because it was cheap, and because every company that adopted it got slightly faster than the one that didn't, and 40 years later the scaffolding became the building. The strangest part is how quiet it all is. You will go to a shop today. You will pick something up, put it on a belt, or wave it over glass, hear a single short beep, and think absolutely nothing. That beep is the sound of the physical world confirming its own identity to a machine. So here's the thing to notice. Somewhere within arm's reach of you, there is a small block of black lines printed on something you own. And it isn't decoration, and it isn't a price tag. It's a promise that the object is what it claims to be. Everything else is built on top of that promise, and you've never once looked at it on purpose.